Mr. Scott, Austin Scott, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I want to talk about the benefits, of this to other parts of the country, as well as those that would traditionally think of it. I represent the 8th District in Georgia, and we have the kaolin belt. And we, through the kaolin that we mine, are an important part of this because the ceramic beads that come out of that kaolin belt are used to produce the propellants for fracking. And we have significant industries in my district specifically that benefit from this. And Ms. Cutting, you talked a little bit about the other industries outside of what we would naturally think of as the oil and gas companies. But could you speak a little further to how lifting this crude oil ban would help industries throughout the country that maybe people might not realize where those materials come from?
Absolutely. There's many places in the country where proppant is brought in. Sand, gravel. We know there's sand and gravel that come from Minnesota, many places in North Dakota, but there isn't enough sand and gravel in North Dakota to get the job done, so that's being imported in our state from surrounding states. Manufacturing, pipelines, tanks, all of the equipment that goes into a well site and all of the parts of processing of the crude oil and the natural gas. I mean, this is just a huge amount of work in manufacturing and jobs that are created across the country. I think that there are some studies, I'm not sure which gentleman here from the analytical groups could address this, but I know that there's studies out there that talk about the impact on all 50 states from conventional and unconventional oil and gas. And so Mr. Webster perhaps might be able to address that with more detail, or Mr. Ham.
Mr. Webster was next in line, and if he could just explain also how other states stand to benefit substantially in terms of jobs from this potential legislation.
Certainly. Thanks for the question, Congressman. Our analysis, and we did, as I stated, we did a report, Unleashing the Supply Chain, which actually delves into what the impact is, not just at the state level, but also at the congressional level. And what we found is that this boom in unconventional production, both oil and gas, Federal Reserve Chairman, former Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke at our CERAWeek last year stated that this is one of the most beneficial developments that happened since the Great Recession. And while 50 states benefit from this, and almost every congressional district ends up getting some benefit from this, even places that don't necessarily want to allow fracking. And these are jobs that pay on average 25% more than the average job out there.